Can we talk? The center may be holding for now, but there's also a widespread sense that political division and partisan bickering have made civil, intelligent discussion of the issues of the day more difficult than they used to be in the relatively recent past. The level of emotional wrangling, both on social media and over cups of coffee, seemed to be at a high level. In an effort to reverse that trend, a group of local residents organized a meeting held at the Manchester Community Library Monday night, seeking to find ways of having civil and substantive discussions with others who have different points of view. It was not intended to be a discussion of specific political issues or current events, but rather an exercise in listening to different perspectives and considering them. Cindy Waters, the library's coordinator of adult programming, got the evening started with an overview of the agenda and how the event came about.
About a month ago, I received an email from Ruth Hoffman, and in the subject line it said, "Can we talk?" And she just spoke in it about how when we gather in the community, how she would like to have a program to help people maneuver to be able to have effective, polite, civil conversations with people from across the political spectrum. And so that was kind of the seed that began this. We've had a wonderful committee, Ruth and Ed Morrow, and the three of us actually talked about how we thought one thing that was really important was to get one or two facilitators that were very skilled that could help us along the way.
She was followed by Rabbi Michael Cohn and Judy Livingston, who were the facilitators of the discussion. Rabbi Cohn teaches courses in conflict resolution at Bennington College and the Arava Institute, an environmental and academic institution in the Middle East. Judy Livingston is a former state representative from Manchester. They describe some experiences and approaches to working across party lines and finding middle ground.
It reminds us that when we talk, we create worlds. Speech is so powerful, and we need to be reminded of that. When I studied at the yeshiva that I studied at in Jerusalem, one could study whatever one wanted during the course of the day. You could study Torah, Mishnah, Talmud, Jewish philosophy, Jewish law, whatever you wanted. There was a little note in the back of the hall by the founding rabbi who said that before Mincha, the afternoon service, every day, the entire yeshiva, the entire salashon, the laws of speech. Pain was ugly and crass, with all forms of expression considered acceptable. The unraveling of civility is also the unraveling of democracy. After this election, we wise to remind ourselves the word from the book of Proverbs. Those who guard their mouths and their tongues keep themselves from calamity. Let us remind ourselves how to talk, and that's what this evening is about.
And I think, as Michael said, one of the important details that people forget is trust. Trust is the most important thing in having a debate. You have to respect the other person. You have to know the other person is meaning what they're saying. So I found that I voted. When I said I was going to support a bill, I did. I never welched on anybody. If somebody asked me to do a favor or something, I was sure to do it, or I went to them and explained why I wasn't. And eventually, after 10 years in the legislature, I built up trust. So people knew what I was expected to do, I would do.
And that's really what we build at the Arava Institute, because if you trust somebody, it means you know them. And if you really know somebody, even if you disagree, you can move forward. And it's one of the things that I think we've lost in this country is that trust that we have the people we disagree with. So part of what we're going to try to do now is get to know each other.
The roughly 90 attendees then broke into about a dozen small groups where they were asked to discuss a series of 6 questions. Who is your favorite political hero or role model? What was the first political activity you ever participated in? What is your favorite political novel, movie, or play, and why? Do you vote in elections? Why or why not? Share an incident or two that shaped you politically. And what is your favorite song with a political message? The answers to that last question turned out to be We Shall Overcome and This Land Is Your Land, which most of the audience joined in singing together near the end. While the discussion may or may not have changed any points of view across ideological lines, it was a useful exercise and experience, several of those taking part said afterwards.
The whole idea of getting to know your group, and Judy's example of just having some time together, not talking politics, but getting to know the other guy, the other woman, as a human being. Once that happens, then you set the rules together for how you're going to discuss much more difficult topics. So I hope we're going to...
So nobody said you're wrong, or that's not correct, or you're lying, or that's false news. It was very congenial, it was very open, very nice, and I wish we can have more of this in this town. I don't want to be called a bad guy just because I voted for a person you didn't vote for example. And I've been subject to that.
Opinions. Our particular group, I think, had more, were similar backgrounds and had similar ways. There's a little divergence in our group, I think.
Yeah, I think it was very productive in the sense that it was clearly there were people on both sides of the spectrum, and it was interesting the point that was made at the beginning about learning how to trust one another is the foundation to learning how to communicate with one another. And I think tonight was the first step in developing that trust and therefore being able to communicate and listen and respect each other.
Really, it was not to get deep into any political issue, but I really wanted people to share, and it was really the question about kind of their political autobiographies, to really share how they've become who they are politically, and to see the person behind the political ideology, and that's really what this evening was about.
It's like this?
Yeah, I mean, and I think when we do those, I think we'll actually pick particular topics of the day, now that we've hopefully set the groundwork of how to have those interactions.
For the GNet TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.